It's emerged police officers were issued with plastic bullets as they faced rioters and looters in Birmingham in the Black Country last month. The Chief Constable, Chris Sims, said no shots were fired, but he defended his force's tactics.
Our special correspondent, Peter Wilson, spoke to him during a debate in Birmingham, organised by the BBC, which focused on the causes of the riots.
The moment last month when gangs in Birmingham turned their guns on the police. The police released this video partly in response to accusations that they'd stood back while looters plundered shops. The deaths of 3 men who'd been standing on the Dudley Road protecting local businesses put an end to the riots. Last night at the city's town hall, almost 1,000 people came together to debate the causes and the solutions to the unrest.
As part of the reflection that we all need to have as these events sort of settle on our minds, is to understand that policing needs to be left with police, and that the consequences of being on the street can be dangerous to the wider community.
There is a massive gap between the haves and the have-not. This is something that went back 4 decades.
The Radio 4 debate looked at broken society, broken families, dysfunctional politics. In the audience, everyone had a chance to have their say.
I don't agree with everything that happened, and I don't say it's right. I don't condone it, but again, it's not just it wasn't just gangs. You know, it's just an easy thing to say. It's easy to label everyone as a gang member or a gang or a thug because, again, like I said, there was university students as positive athletes stealing and robbing stuff.
This debate hasn't only been happening on the stage here at the town hall. The audience themselves have been debating the issues, but everyone is agreed that there's no easy solution, no silver bullet to these problems. No silver bullet, but the police revealed that they had been prepared to use plastic bullets.
They are part of the tactic that we would deploy if police came under direct fire.
During the riots, our cameras captured 2 young women carrying a 40-inch flat-screen TV. They gently put it down in a hotel doorway. The debate raged on whether harsh environments or just plain greed had sparked the looting. Many in the audience questioned why greed was good for top people in the city, but not for the poor and marginalised.
But there are undoubtedly banks that were badly run, and of course we know that they have taken big taxpayers' money from us all. But I mean, the key thing is that on the whole, these banks were not actually breaking the law, and you have to look at other reasons why things went so badly wrong, and they did go badly wrong.
This was not just a forum for politicians and Westminster insiders. It was a public debate.
The sense that greed is good has led us down a very dark and dangerous path, and we should get off it.
It's just a lack of morality in society in general. It's what I want and I want to have.
The knee-jerk reaction that we've had over the past couple of weeks have not actually allowed people to pause and actually think about the practicalities, about how you deal with such a disparate number of people causing so much disruption for so many different reasons.
Streamed onto the internet, broadcast nationally on the Today programme, the Midlands audience felt that their voice had been heard, even if the solutions to the riots are complex and many. Peter Wilson, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
Well, one of the themes promoted at last night's debate in Birmingham was a need to encourage old-fashioned values among young people.
But can a so-called back-to-basics approach work? Kath Mackey spent the day at one inner-city school where results suggest it can.
I've got to solve those problems to make you successful.
A rousing start to the term at Perry Beach's school in Birmingham. Lesson 1, taking responsibility.
We have got a team of new teaching staff in school, and it's your responsibility, as well you know, to find out who they are.
4 years ago, just 21% of pupils here got 5 GCSEs at grade C or above. Then Liam Nolan took over. This summer the figure leapt to 75%, including English and maths.
This is an inner-city school in a deprived part of Birmingham, yet in a space of just 4 years it's gone from failing to outstanding. And its success, it says, is just down to 3 simple words: respect, standards and discipline.
We are a very structured school. Students wear perfect uniform or they don't come here. They do their homework or they are detained. They do not speak with disrespect, otherwise parents come up and sit with us and talk with us about where it's gone wrong. So it's very clear about what the expectations are.
It's a philosophy which has won Mr Nolan and his school countless awards and led to an invitation to last night's BBC debate on the riots in Birmingham.
What we need to do is think quick. We need to engage our young people.
We say we, is it government, is it schools, parents?
I think it's schools, I think it's parents, I think it's government, I think it's local councils, local support groups. Finding things that engage our young people. We cannot just churn them out of schools with nothing.
These Year 10 pupils are engaged but feel society discriminates against teenagers.
It's not all of us that's doing the bad things, it's certain few, and then there are people that want to do the right thing.
The youth club I go to, the fundings have gone, so it's going to close in a short period of time.
And what happens to those teenagers who aren't engaged? More than a quarter of those charged in the West Midlands riots were under 18. Knife crime too remains a threat, and surgeons have been recruited to tackle the issue in schools.
We see the consequences, and some of them are dire, death, terrible injuries, and we also have to deal with the families afterwards.
So the focus is very much on the adults of tomorrow. Question is whether they and society at large will learn the lessons of today. Kath Mackey, BBC Midlands Today, Birmingham.
Well, joining us now from Westminster is the Conservative MP, Paul Uppal, member for Wolverhampton South West, an area that also fell victim to the riots. Thanks for joining us, Mr Uppal. Now, we've clearly got to address the adults of tomorrow, as we heard there, but how?
Well, evening, Nick. As you alluded to in the report, these are long-term solutions. But I would actually broaden it out. One thing I noticed in the day after the riots on Wednesday was a lot of young people actually came along with me and helped clean up a lot of the shops and a lot of the damage that was done to a lot of the retail units there. And they primarily said that because they said, we want to actually show that young people can actually have a positive contribution. We do actually want to put something back. So of course there are problems, but there are also a lot of young people out there who are trying to do the right thing and trying to do positive things as well.
Yeah, but so many people are in despair, aren't they, at the way young people simply don't seem to be engaged with the rest of us. They simply don't care, no built-in conscience. How do we break through with those ones?
Well, one thing I did like in Kath's report was about the emphasis on those main values of respect, of discipline and standards. Now, besides being an MP, I'm also a father to 3 children. I think the most important job I have is to teach my children what is right and what is wrong. And I think it's vitally important that we actually address that. If you're not getting discipline in the family, it's important that we get it at school. And when did we reach a point in this country where it became acceptable and almost fashionable to disrespect teachers? And I think it's broader than that. It's about our values, the me-first culture, the celebrity-obsessed culture that we almost have. There are hundreds of thousands of heroes who are watching this programme, people who do the right thing, raise their children, go to work, pay their taxes. Those are the values that really actually made this country great and actually made our city and our region great as well.
You're in government and you've got to get that message across to the ones who aren't thinking like that. How?
It's important, and it's going to take a long time, Nick, because I think this ship has been sailing in one direction for a long time. But I think it's important that we actually talk about this. We have discussions like we are this evening and like we did last night, so that we can actually send out that message that we stress the important values, the long-term values rather than the short-termism that we've had in the past.
Paul Uppal, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
And you can hear more from the Birmingham Town Hall debate on our Facebook page. You can also join the discussion about the way forward.
A roundup of other news now.